Would you believe if I said that our brain has the capacity to change? Yes, you heard it right. Our brain can actually physically change. How is that possible? It is possible by a concept called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change and adapt due to experience. It is an umbrella term referring to brain's ability to change, reorganize, or grow neural networks. It can also involve functional changes due to brain damage or structural changes due to learning. Plasticity refers to the brain's malleability or ability to change. It does not imply that the brain is plastic. Neuroplasticity or neuro refers to neurons, the nerve cells that are the building blocks of the brain and the nervous system. So the neuroplasticity allows nerve cells to change or to adjust. The human brain is composed of approximately 100 billion neurons. Early researchers believed that neurogenesis or the creation of new neurons stopped shortly after birth. Today, it's understood that the brain's neuroplasticity allows it to reorganize pathways, create new connections, and in some cases, even create new neurons. There are two main functions of neuroplasticity. Functional plasticity is the brain's ability to move functions from a damaged area of the brain to other undamaged areas. And structural plasticity is the brain's ability to actually change its physical structures as a result of learning. How does neuroplasticity actually work? The first few years of a child's life are at the time of rapid brain growth. At birth, every neuron in the cerebral cortex has an estimated 2500 synapses or small gaps between neurons where nerve impulses are relayed. By the age of 3, this number has grown to whopping 15,000 synapses per neuron. The average adult only has about half the number of synapses. Why so? Because as we gain new experiences, some connections are strengthened while others are eliminated. This process is known as synaptic pruning. Neurons that are used frequently develop stronger connections. So the subjects in which we are interested, in which we study more, we develop memory regarding that more, right? Those that are rarely or never used eventually die. By developing new connections and pruning away weak ones, the brain can adapt to the changing environment. What are the characteristics of neuroplasticity? First of all, it is dependent on the age and environment. While plasticity refers or occurs throughout the lifetime, certain types of changes are more predominant at a specific age. The brain tends to change a great deal during the early years of life. Young brains tend to be more sensitive and responsive to experience than older brains. Genetics can also have an influence. The interaction between environment and genetics plays a role in shaping brain's plasticity. And neuroplasticity is an ongoing process. Plasticity is ongoing throughout life and involves brain cells other than neurons, including glial cells and vascular cells. It can occur as a result of learning, experience, and memory formation, or as a result of damage to the brain. While people used to believe that the brain became fixed after a certain age, newer research has revealed that the brain never stops changing in response to learning. In instances of damage to the brain, such as during a stroke, areas of brain associated with certain functions may be injured. Eventually, healthy parts of the brain may take over those functions and the abilities can be restored. However, brain plasticity has certain limitations. The brain is not infinitely changeable. Certain areas of the brain are largely responsible for certain actions. For example, there are areas of the brain that may play critical roles in movement, language, speech, and cognition. Damage to these key areas of the brain can result in deficits in those areas. Because while some recovery may be possible, other areas of the brain simply cannot fully take over those functions that were affected by the damage. How can we improve neuroplasticity? There are certain steps that we can take. First of all, we need to be situated in a very enriching environment. That is an environment which is heavy in stimulation. Learning environments which offer plenty of opportunities for focused attention, novelty, and challenge have been shown to stimulate positive changes in the brain. This is particularly important during childhood and adolescence, but also enriching your environment can continue to provide brain rewards well into adulthood. So you need to stimulate your brain by learning new skills, reading new books, learning some new sports, basically giving your brain challenges. You should not subject your brain to a lot of monotony. You should keep learning new things, keep doing new things, and you should basically keep stimulating your brain. You should keep giving a lot of information to your brain. If you don't use your brain, the brain loses its its neural networks, the brain loses its strength and capacity. But the more you use your brain, actually neurons and neural networks are strengthened and your brain capacity increases. So you need to travel and explore new places. You need to do some creative pursuits. You can read, you can learn how to play an instrument, you can learn a new language, anything at all. Also, you need to get plenty of rest. Research has shown that sleep plays an important role in dendritic growth in the brain. Dendrites are the growths at the end of neurons that help transmit information from one neuron to the next. By strengthening these connections, you may be able to encourage greater brain plasticity. Sleep has been shown to have important effects in strengthening the neural networks. You can improve your sleep by practicing good sleep hygiene. Also, you need to exercise regularly. Regular physical activity has number of brain benefits. Some research indicates that exercise might help prevent neuron loss in key areas of the hippocampus, a part of the brain involved in memory and other functions. Other studies suggest that exercise plays a role in new neuron formation in the same region. Right, so exercise and meditation will help you in actually preventing diseases like Alzheimer's or dementia in later life. Physical exercise boosts brain plasticity through its impact on the brain derived neurotrophic factor BDNF, a protein that impacts nerve growth. Right? Functional connectivity is also improved, and the basal ganglia, the part of brain responsible for motor control and learning, is also strengthened with the help of regular exercise. You also need to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness entails completely immersing your mind in the present moment without ruminating over the past or contemplating the future. Awareness of the sights, sounds, and sensations around you is the key. Many studies have shown that cultivating and practicing mindfulness can actually foster a brain's neuroplasticity. Also, playing different kinds of games like board games, card games, video games can improve your brain's neuroplasticity. Although brain changes are often seen as improvements, but always this is not the case. Sometimes the brain structure and function can be negatively changed or influenced. For example, brain plasticity can become a big problem when it allows detrimental changes caused by substance abuse, disease, or trauma, right? Like post-traumatic stress disorder or brain injury. Even lead poisoning can negatively impact brain plasticity. There are some medical conditions that can limit or hinder brain plasticity. Among them are a variety of pediatric neurological disorders like epilepsy or cerebral palsy or Fragile X syndrome, which can actually be harmful for us. How was neuroplasticity actually discovered? Beliefs and theories about brain works have evolved substantially through the years. Early researchers believed that brain was actually fixed, but modern advances have shown that brain is more flexible, right? Until the 1960s, researchers believed that changes in brain could only take place during childhood, right? But later on it was discovered that brain was much like it has the ability to change, right? Because of the experiments on rhesus monkeys, we've basically figured out that the brain can actually change itself. It can physically change itself. So to give an example, suppose you stop using your eyes are normal, your vision is normal, but you, let's say you stop you cover your eyes with a blindfold, and for many years you live like that. Do you think that after removing the blindfold after many years you will be able to see? The answer is probably no, because the brain and the region of the brain that is responsible for vision, that region has been actually committed to some other function, right? This is how actually our brain physically changes, and we realize that later on. Now, what are the benefits of neuroplasticity? The benefits are that it gives us the ability to learn new things, ability to enhance existing cognitive capabilities. It helps us to recover from strokes and traumatic brain injuries. It strengthens areas where function is lost or has declined, and basically it gives a lot of improvements which can give or which can basically boost our brain's fitness. This was basically a short, you can say an introduction to neuroplasticity. And one of the best and very interesting real life examples of neuroplasticity is the very interesting case, a real life case of a person called Phineas Gage. We'll look at that case in another video. Thank you so much for listening and stay tuned.